Hello, my name is Spencer and welcome back to my hobby channel. I enjoy sharing my experiences learning diorama making, miniature painting, and trying to storytell through them. This is a 1:35 scale Tamiya soldier I picked up from my local hobby shop a while ago. Part of my 2025 goals is to go through all my unpainted minis, and this soldier seemed like a perfect start, and I had a vision for a diorama. For this diorama, I'll start with a base layer of XPS foam. This scrap I had lying around was large enough that I could include both my model and some details to the diorama. To begin with, I needed to mark the dimensions of the diorama. Then, I could take the foam to my hot wire table to get some nice clean lines, and I can save my scraps for a future project. I had used this soldier earlier to practice assembling and priming my minis, but I had neglected to remove the mold lines and they were pretty rough on this mini, so I ended up going back and cleaning up the entirety of the mini. This soldier also had some gaps in the plastic, so I also added some liquid green stuff to remedy this issue. Once the green stuff has dried, I'll use a sanding stick to make the transition between the plastics smoother. Once our soldier is ready, we can then switch to our painting mat. To begin the painting process, I re-primed the soldier with a complete black prime using Vallejo's black surface primer. Then I started by painting in the recessed details, notably the skin with a flat flesh tone. Then I applied a dark camo color to the entire uniform. While this does not show up very well on camera, this step helped a ton with the shadows of the finalized model. Then I chose to put on a layer of red leather for the base coat of the boots. I chose this color because it really contrasted the rest of the model well, and this color really stood out to me in the Vallejo color chart. For the helmet, I chose a US olive drab color so that it wouldn't match the uniform exactly, but it would match what people typically think of when they think of a World War II American soldier. For the belt, I used a dark brown since the belt is in mostly shaded areas. The rifle got some wooden colors for the shoulder and the grip, and then some gunmetal onto the barrel and body of the rifle. Once all the base colors were applied, we could then start bringing the tones up on the uniform. To do that, I added gradually lighter tones of green on top of the dark green base where the light would naturally hit the model. Then I applied a sepia wash to the boots of the soldier to give them a nice worn and dirty look. Once all the washes were dry, we can then bring the highlights back by dry brushing with the highlight colors. I'm no professional mini painter, but I was very happy with this paint job. One of my goals for 2025 is to practice and improve my painting skills. So if you can see any obvious areas of improvement, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Once I was satisfied with our soldier, we can then move on to managing the base. For my dioramas, I always like dealing with slopes because I think that makes them much more interesting to look at. So I began by marking off where I'd like to carve a slope, and then I got to work with my hobby knife. Then, once the slope was done, I cut up some cubes of foam for some DIY sandbags. To make the sandbags, I took multiple grains of sandpaper and took my time sanding down each block into a nice round slumped bag shape. Once I had enough sandbags, I could then clean up my workspace a bit. Next, I hit the entirety of the base and the bags with a flat black prime. To paint the sandbags, I started by applying a sandy base tone and then dry brushing a lighter canvas color, moving left and right and up and down to get a crosshatch pattern. For the final touch, I put a very diluted brown wash over the bags. Once the bags are done, we can move to the rest of the base. For a terrain paste, I applied a Vallejo Dark Earth texture paste. Another goal of mine moving forward is to use the resources I have on hand to free up some storage space in my work area. I applied this paste to the entirety of the base and it was very easy to use. Before the paste had the opportunity to dry, I took the sandbags and pushed them into the paste so that they would stick onto the texture. I also then applied some more earth texture in between the gaps in the bags in order to make a more compelling bunker wall. Once the paste has dried and the bags are in place, I applied some Woodland Scenic static tack to one side of the diorama outside of the bunker and applied some static grass flock to it. Then I used a small vacuum to clean up the excess grass. As an optional step, this grass wasn't exactly the right color for me, so I went in with my airbrush to highlight it a brighter green color. Then we can affix the soldier to the base of the diorama. For some final details, I added some of the terrain base to the soles of the soldier's boots and some paste onto the uniform as well, where he is laying in the mud. Finally, once everything is done, we can paint the sides black and move on to some glamour shots. I'd like to take this moment to say thank you to each of you who stayed through till the end of this video. I genuinely appreciate the support of my hobbies, and I'm learning and I enjoy sharing the process that I go through. I have plenty more models to make, stories to tell, and a wide variety of hobby things that will make their way into future videos. I hope you all have an excellent week, and I'll see you in the next one.